Welcome back to Yeti, episode 66. Little chaos ensuing here. It's Perry Nice, and Harasim has gone down in a crash. And without Aiden Shaw, who's getting some rest for this couple of weeks, Torino Adriatico and Perry Nice happening at the same time, we're looking at a pretty sizable group that has gone back to catch these guys. And there is Salah and Lind to help with that process. So we're going to get Harasim up and then follow Lind and then Salah. There's still 44k to go. And we're already back in contact. So we've lucked out there. There has been separation, multiple separation points in the field. The wind earlier in this stage was one of those contributing factors, but a lot of it has come back together since that point. So Salah's just going to slowly bring us back up, conserving some energy. You can see there is some fatigue in most of the riders. The other two leaders besides Harasim, Gottstein and Vasilevsky they're looking pretty strong at this point. Now, Perry Nice is primarily a climbers race. There's really only a couple of sprint stages at it, but I do not have a deep team. I do not have a deep roster. There's a lot of fatigue that's kind of setting in. Well, will set in, and we're going to have to manage closely. We don't have the number of riders it takes to race this type of calendar consistently. So we are going to have kind of our hands full with this thing, trying to make sure we are ready for as many races as we can to give ourselves the best chance of securing a win. It's not just about the points. The points do matter, but we've got to secure some wins here and there. So I think I'm going to play a little differently through a big chunk of this season, and realistically what I'm going to be looking for, what I'm aiming for is going to be the right riders at the right time scenario a little more often, and then just a lot of we're going to miss opportunities. So instead of having kind of a 1.5 team every race, I'd like to stack the deck here and there occasionally and give us a chance to come up with some wins, as we are in a lot better position when we stack the deck than when we don't. Consistent top 10s are great for points, but not great for snowballing.
Only 15 kilometers left.
Final 15k. Definite undulation. Whoa. Massive acceleration on this hill. Let's just push the 99 now. Hold that position. Don't drag back any further. 13k. When we get out here and leveled off and kind of back in position a little bit.
Some riders are being left behind.
There we go. Splits in the field. Yo-yoing, but we're down to about 100. Not that that matters. It's about the sprint at the end. We've got one climb left on the way to the finish. This is the kind of profile that does suit me as a player, but we don't have Shaw. Let's see, 75, 79, and punchy. That's how this guy's 77, 74, but less stamina, less climbing ability. So Harasim is going to get the chance to lead this one. Gottstein is the lead out. Then Lind. And how are we looking on the other kind of flat profiles? Salah's got a good flat. Shui, Zayats are looking much better. So Salah's first. Oh, of course Salah's like further back. Get to the left-hand side of the road. Everybody's going to peel to the left in just a second. Yeah. Not a great position we were in there. That ended up dropping us back even further. And now we're going to take another corner. It's going to be hard to get through at the moment. Salah pushing hard, though. He is getting us there ultimately, down to 90 and 9k. So we're probably going to have to get on with Shui once everybody's kind of in position. We're coming up on that next hill, and Shui is the guy you kind of want taking over for that. Salah has recovered a little bit, but I want to get Shui in charge for the climb. But can I get the rest of the team in position behind him? Not really. And we're not even stretching the field at the moment. Harasim's there. 3K. Zayat's starting an early sprint here, just trying to get into that clean air and knowing that we've got some technical finish here. It's 2 meters. I thought there was still close to a kilometer left. I was not looking at the distance to go. I'm watching red bar as we go down there. Harasim had a little more in the tank than I thought he did. 13, 16, 19 is all I managed there. Without our top guys, it's hard to get. It's hard against this World Tour field. Period. How did we manage to get those 4 wins last year? Oh, right. Exactly what I was just talking about. We need to stack the deck for races. You need to get the right riders with the objective and stack the deck. Because here, without the objective, without the fitness peak, with just standard race day conditions, it's hard to even break the top 10, let alone the top 5, let alone a win. Stage 2, final 10K, and we're caught up on ourselves and just lost 30 bike lengths. Awesome. Freaking awesome. What a start. So, scenario. It just got a lot more difficult going backwards. I mean, look how hard we're having to push to get through. We're basically at full sprint kind of capacity already. Burning through those first 2 guys, just trying to get up here. And then now that we, continue that last kind of sequence of push, there's just not much left in us to try to make something happen here. Okay, on to Gottstein as the first 2 are done. Just can't seem to get forward into position. The red bar is already gone for these guys. It's just not looking good. We're already inside 3K. Zayat's soft sprinting. Here's that little bit of undulation. I got the 2 guys left. 3 guys left. Okay, I got 3 guys left. Lind, come on. Lind is going to find some space, but they're not going with him. So this guy, 800 meters. Here's that little bit of uphill, but I mean, they're way too far down. Way too far down. They're at the finish line before Harasim's even starting his sprint. Simmons wins again. Horrible positioning. Started with the team being in a little bit of a pack. Salah was in the middle, and everybody wanted to get behind Salah, and Salah wanted to get forward, and there was too many of them, and they just slowed down. Lost a ton of ground before it got it sorted out, so that's my bad. Going early has its benefits. Going late has its benefits. I went late this time. When you go early, you have more time to overcome that sort of scenario. We just don't have the flat ratings. So we have to really push way harder than we're supposed to, which means we don't really have the option to go early. I prefer to go early. That's my play style. But right now, this season, in the World Tour, without big race day condition bonuses, today was a -6 on the draw. We had a neutral 0. But I now have 2 riders who have started fitness peaks. There are no objectives here, but 2 + 3s expected. And both of those guys ended up at 0s. Everybody else, there was 1 -2 and 1 +2. Those 2 riders were each -3. So that didn't help. It didn't do any favors. Stage 1, we were fine. We were overall net +1 as a team, so very neutral. But yeah, -6 today definitely hurts. I think anything more than about +3, -3 is where you start to go into, that's a bad draw or a good draw. But yeah, those late run-ins, we got 17th with Lind. Vasilevsky got 20th. Those late run-ins, everything has to go right. Everything has to be perfect for them to work. It's a riskier strategy. It's not the strategy I prefer. But without the flat riders, it feels like I'm forced into the going short. However, there's also that third option, which is follow Simmons, follow Van Uden, follow the fastest riders, follow Mikkels, follow those guys with all your fast men. Use them as your lead out riders. One of them gets it wrong, sets you up, you've got a chance. We have not won with this strategy yet, but we have come close. We've had a couple podiums from it, so it can be an effective strategy, and it's been one that I've implemented when I either haven't had a sprint team or haven't had the bulk of my sprinters present. We don't have the capability of set ourselves up, but others can set us up for them. However, following a faster rider means they've got the better chance. But if they don't time it right, if they go too early, it can work out. It can set you up. More often than not, it's not going to work out. But it can create that odd scenario here where they get it wrong to set you up perfectly to get it right for you. And with their pace, with their lead out, with their team, you're well placed. So if I get any more, I think I'm going to go for that in this Paris-Nice. But that might have been it for the sprints, which means we're going to be shifting our focus over to Tirreno Adriatico, where we definitely have a climbing team for that one, and we'll be a bit more involved in that race than Paris-Nice. We may not be off to a winning start for our season, but we are definitely off to an important start to our season. Our potential of making World Tour has just increased a fair bit. We now have 2 5-star riders. Kevin Lind has leveled up. He's got a +2 to his flat rating, going from a 75 to a 77. His prologue has gone +2, so not terribly important with a 75 up to a 77. Sprint +1 from a 66 to a 67, and resistance has risen by 1 up to a 73. So 6 points gained overall is not a ton. It's not going to be a huge difference, but it is 2 5-star rated riders and a number of 4.5-star guys behind him. If we can get to 3 5-star rated riders, I think there's a pretty good chance that we are going to make World Tour. Let's take a moment to see how that does compare with others. Remember, with the database, the bloating isn't as bad here as you normally get. It's taking longer to come up, and so it is helping stabilize that rapid growth that usually exists. So first off, starting with Continental Pro. Well, what do you have here? Alpecin Deceuninck, one of the closest to having been World Tour, has 2 5-star guys and then 4.5s, a number of them. Same with Arkea. 1 for Caja Rural. 1 for Cannondale, and they, look at that, they're barely in the window with just that 3 minimum. 3 4.5-star guys for Cofidis. Same here for Grupo Exito. Okay, well, there's your first sign. Hagens Berman, 3 5-star guys, and are not in World Tour. Mavic, how in the world did they make Continental Pro with only 2 riders? And Monster Energy. We, of course, now have our 2 and 3 4.5-star guys. Samrook has 2. 1 for Saint Michel. Team Air Belgium, 3 4.5-star guys. Philip Siemens, 1 and 1. So that's like the third case of a team not having minimum 3 4.5-star guys. That was kind of what it took to get us there. But I suppose the trade-off, each of those 3 all have at least 1 5-star guy, is enough to get you here. Here's only the second or third team that has the solid 3 4.5-star riders. Tudor has 1 5-star. VF Group Bardiani has 1 5.5-star. 81 sprinter Maginori. And then 2 4.5-star guys. All right, the World Tour comparison. The all-important one we're looking at. Astana, 1 5.5 and multiple 5s. Bora, 2 5.5s. And Victorious. There's your 3 5-stars being enough. But as what we saw with the other team down in Continental Pro that had it and wasn't there, they have 6. Decathlon, AG2R, 2 5.5s. EF has 1, a 6-star for Ineos, and many 5.5s. Intermarché, 3 5-star guys, is enough. That other team, I think, was the next one on the bubble. So 5 stars is going to get you incredibly close and not guarantee that you're in. That's 2 6-star guys for Lidl Trek. Lotto has 1 6-star. 1 5.5 for Movistar. There's a 6, 5.5, 5.5, 3 6-stars for Visma. Vingegaard, Philipsen, and Wout van Aert. No surprise it's there. Then it drops to 5 stars. 2 5.5-star riders. Another 6 there with Van der Poel. And then it's 4.5s after that. Terengganu just barely squeezing in to World Tour and really just riding the Van der Poel superstar coattails. UAE, 1 6-star. And there's another Uno X with 3 riders at 5 stars. So, first things first, minimum to make it is going to be 3 guys at 5 stars, right? Unless we have somebody who's also a step beyond that. Below in Continental Pro, there was one 5.5-star rider, but then they didn't have the pieces that go with it to get you into the World Tour. So 5.5 seems to be a pretty dang clear path. So if we can get, Haglund now, Lind is just leveled up, so I doubt we're going to see much more from him, and he probably barely made 5 stars. Haglund, a little bit better off, still number 1 on the team rating wise. If you get Haglund to 5.5, that's probably still not enough. But if you get one of these guys to 5, Shaw, G's not going to make it, so it's Shaw or Haddad. So right now our hopes are on Shaw or Haddad making 5-star. That's 3 5-star guys. 2 of the 3 teams that have that scenario, right? Have 3 5-star riders. We saw where you have like 5 or 6. There's a couple teams with that. I think they're a little more comfortable. They have that variety. But with just 3, just that minimum standing, right? It's your top 3 rated riders. 3 5-star guys, 3 teams, 2 made it in, 1 didn't. Right now we're at 2. So we get that 1 more. We get Shaw, we get Haddad up there. That puts us in that pool. That's 4 teams. Every year, the database does lift even a little. I said it's not lifting much, but that doesn't mean it's not lifting, right? So 4th team to 3 4-star, 5-star riders. Maybe there's a 5th as well, right? So I don't know if getting 3 5-star guys is going to quite cut it. But if Haglund can hit 5.5, and either Shaw or Haddad does hit that 5-star mark, that would be enough. 1 5.5 and 2 5s would definitely do it. Shifting focus now to Tirreno Adriatico. This is what I was talking about in our best chance to find wins. Stack the deck. Put your best team forward. Give them all an objective, or most of them an objective, and give them a real shot at coming up with a win. So with Tirreno Adriatico, I've done exactly that. I've got my best climbers. They all have objectives. So far, though, only one has actually started his fitness peak. That's Montez. He's got an expected +5. But with the objective and the 99% fitness levels for everybody, we're looking at everybody else having +3s on the expected. Overall, the day is kind of a neutral draw, but unfortunately, the best guy, best rider on the team, best one with a chance, Haglund has a -4 draw. Ponemar has a -5 draw. The Ponemar part I don't mind, but Haglund's our best rider. So for him to be carrying a -1, all those +5s and +4s in the, the 5 riders that are going to be exceptional today, we're going to have to rely more on them. It makes the chances of hurting, splitting the field, doing something good GC entirely possible, but it takes the chances of pulling a win in today's stage, at least. It makes it a bit more difficult. Haglund will be fine. He's got the quality to keep up. We'll put him in the last spot as the team leader, but I won't necessarily actually ride for him. We'll ride for whoever we end up putting in front of him, which I think is Abdullah. Abdullah is going to be the punchiest guy for today, but as we get inside the last 60K, Ponemar, go ahead and get water one final time for us. Inside the last 50K, looking strong. Breakaway, still looking kind of strong. They've still got a 3-minute advantage, but there's only 3 of them, and it's been a pretty long stage, and there's plenty of undulation, so I doubt that they're going to be too much of a threat unless it's the best riders out there, and no, that not big names. Not big names, so they should be a relatively easy catch, though currently we're not really pulling much time back. There's a lot of descending over this stretch. Basically 2 more climbs left, but the finish is also on a 3rd shorter climb. So 3 climbs to navigate. This one will go up. It's going to have a little bit of respite before it then goes up steeper than before. This is where we don't want to be dropping back, so let's go ahead and commit to about an 83 effort right now. Gap down to 2.5 to those guys. They still have a bit of an advantage and just 26K left. Not a guarantee that they're going to get caught. That penultimate climb is where I really want to have a go and put the field under some pretty serious stretch. or stress, that is. Okay, we've successfully made it over the top there with everybody, and 20k to go. Still 217 to those guys, so only 1 minute's been pulled back, and half of the kilometers that remained are gone, and there's still a good amount, more than half of what's left is going to be descending. So 17.6k, and like half of it's downhill, meaning it's going to go fast, and the catch on those front three is not at all assured right now. Panamar is not very good downhill, so he's not going to gain a ton of time through here. But we will begin climbing fairly soon. There's not much to this descent. Still 2 minutes to those guys, as we're going to turn that corner and begin climbing. Panamar will be done rather quickly here, and we'll back off to about a 96 for Zippinati. Okay, down to a minute 40 already. Getting G ready. Getting Montez ready. 11k out. And there we go. They are in sight and already buckling under the pressure. Kristen getting dropped
10 kilometers to the finish line.
and caught.
The pack is putting the squeeze on the
Okay,
breakaway.
we are taking a chunk out of our red bar for sure. But we'll get a lot of recovery.
It's in
G,
such
continue
percentages
on.
that the strongest can create
Still chasing
some
those
gaps.
front two, but we're nearly there. And we're going to want to get some separation in the last kilometer or so, so we are going to get another acceleration here out of, say, Montez.
The escapees have surrendered. The pack gave them no chance.
And we're now the front of the field. $8K from the finish. We've got our punchiest guy for the finish, and we've got our 2 leaders right behind him, and we've got our whole team intact. Panamar looking the weakest. Panamar switchbacks. Zippinati and G are somehow behind you. You're struggling to keep up. 75 still in contention, though. We have not split this field. Now it's 22. Now it's 74. Getting a bit of a yo-yo happening here. G is still here. G follow Haddad. $2.9K. Montez starting his soft sprint.
And there's an attack at the front. He could go all the way.
Abdullah starting his soft sprint. We've got a real shot at this thing. He's doing some damage behind, but we've got some separation. We've got some separation. Sprint all 4. We got this, folks. That's a win. That's going to be a win. That's going to be a sweep of the podium. Stack the deck. Stack the deck and kick ass. Edvin Hagland gets the win. So Hagland gets the win. That's incredible. Abdullah, Haddad. Montez hangs on for 6th. That's Shreddle, the only one who even catches him. That's how strong they ended up being at the finish there. Incredible stuff. Zippinati is going to lose a bunch of time, though, as he was still following Panamar. But I've got 4 guys in GC contention. We've got huge time separation. Stage win. We got a snowball, but I got a double check. Torino Adriatico should be probably A level. Apparently that's where I'm destined to get all my wins early on. The B and C we haven't done. We're going straight to A. Confirmation that we have indeed won for the 5th time with a World Tour A level race. We haven't won any B's or C's yet, but we've won World Tour A now 5 times. I'm down to 4 nations left that we can win at this tier. Let me know in the comments below that if I win something higher, say World Tour A, and I'm out, can I then go back and claim those below? I wasn't allowing that before, but let me know if I should. Anyway, we're down to 4 nations. We have Argentina 5-1. Japan is a 5-1. But Eritrea and the Czech Republic are both 5-3 nations. Pop 5, Training 3. They'd be pretty solid additions. There's a lot of good riders between those 2 nations that would become available to us. So we're definitely hoping for the 2 later. It's Argentina at 5-1 though, so it's one of the weaker ones. That's okay. We'll take it. I'm going to check Argentina momentarily to see how we're doing. I was planning on progressing a lot further in this episode, but between this and talking about stacking the deck and then having it play out exactly how you want it to, resulting in a win. Look at the result. I'll go look at Argentina, show you what I find before we wrap this episode up, and then we'll continue on with the Tirreno Adriatico in the next episode. We've got 4 more stages to compete in, as we're already bypassed a couple of sprints. This was stage 3. First 2 stages were sprints. And Pyrenees, like I said, I think is done. I think we're out of sprints over there. Anyway, Haglund, Abdullah, Haddad, G. 21 seconds of separation. Montez in the chase group. None of them are on the podium, so no bonus seconds for them. We do have 10, 6, and 4 for our guys with Haglund in the driver's seat, leading overall. But now we have to defend that going into the next stage. So, oh crap. Are we leading overall? Probably. We'll check that in a second. But small group, 4 chase riders at 21 behind, including Montez. Then a chase group at 33. So already half-minute separation, 48 to guys like Pidcock and Gegenhardt. Evenepoel, all missing out on that. Martinez. So a lot of quality. Foss, Lipowitz, Carapaz, Kuss, and then a minute 10 to Piganzoli. Yes, confirmation, we are leading, no surprise. Maginoti, the Italian sprinter who won a stage or 2, drops to 5th overall. He's only 27 seconds down, so he was actually in that chase group, just a couple, 22 seconds behind. Pure sprinter, right? How in the world did he keep? I mean, it was hills. He'll be gone on the next one, as it's a mountain stage. Speaking of, next one's a mountain stage, and we're going to have to try to control the field. It's going to be challenging to defend from here, but a couple goals going forward. One, we're built for this race, so I want to do the best we can for the next 4 stages. I want to have a good GC finish. A win would be fantastic, because 1, that's a snowball opportunity, but 2, it would be great for points, but we're not necessarily the favorites, and we definitely don't have a team built to defend leads yet. We're not at that stage. We don't have the numbers. I brought the climbers, which will be great when we get to the climb, but I'll have burned through a couple of guys getting us to the climb, and maybe even more than that to keep the breakaway, in check. We're in a great position right now, though. I mean, that part's looking fantastic. But hanging on to it, a totally different matter when we're the ones having to defend the lead. So it wouldn't be the worst thing if we slip to 2nd or 3rd place in the next one, and then can turn around in the last few stages and do something again as not the leadership team. So don't necessarily want to be in the lead, but here we are. Number 1-1 nation of Liechtenstein. Sorry, not 1-1. 1-3 nation. Did have a training rating of 3. That was that unique one where I didn't include it in the initial snowballs. I had to take one of those lower level races to get the win to bring Liechtenstein in. There is no real pop 1, but that lowest category where it could be that equivalent. After we unlocked Liechtenstein, we brought in Haglund. Haglund brought it from a 1-3 to a 3-3. Now he's turned it into a 5-3 nation. So Liechtenstein is looking like it could produce some pretty good talents. 5-3 is definitely up there as one of the best that we have in the pool. One of the best availabilities. But outside of Haglund, there is no one yet. And it would take a few years for it to kind of trickle through. I mean, the first big thing that I've learned in this process, and going back and doing a tutorial on the matter, the scouting system, right? It takes 2 years for a rider who is created and added to the pool to go from 16 to 17 to being eligible to hire as a pro. It's not a 3-year process, but it is a 2-year process. Having a Pop 3 Liechtenstein, now Pop 5 Liechtenstein, right? It's going to be at least 2 years before you see somebody of a Haglund quality that can be signed. So it does throw it off. It does change it. It does take time to have the results of the gains trickle down and make a difference. Before checking Argentina, I want to check the rankings. Paris-Nice, Torino Adriatico, they are not counted in the points yet, right? You gotta wait. It's only done weekly, so it's not in yet, and we don't know what the overall outcome will be. We just know that we've won a stage, or some points, but we find ourselves in the top 10 as a Continental Pro team. Even with the approach that I've taken so far, Equipo, Kern, Farmbach, we're all the way down at Continental. Euskaltel, Euskadi, who are down at Continental, are just outside of the top 10, though. So it's very, very early days, but 1,300 points already. And, we've already added some on top of that. So we're looking at about a 1,500 plus after this week, or, even more. So good start to the season despite the approach. And there's your impact of a 5-1 nation. Popularity-wise, there's plenty of riders. But training-wise, there's just no quality in Argentina. You got 3.5 star riders. None of them are anywhere near good enough or have the potential to be good enough to join our squad. So we've picked up absolutely nothing from adding Argentina. But what we've done is we've eliminated another one from that list. And there's now 2 of 3 that remain at that A level that have some quality, have some training that could provide us some support. So it's still a win in my book. It's still checking one off. And it had been 10 episodes. 10 episodes. It was 56 was the last time we claimed a victory. But of course, last season, right, was weird circumstances. The potential to snowball was almost non-existent, as we hardly had a World Tour race last season. But that was why we did what we did, so we could get the races now. And we have them. It's just trying to make the best of it, right? We don't want mediocrity. We don't want to be above average. We don't want to just have good race, and finish high up in the points. We want to secure some wins. And we've got to play our hand right by stacking the deck. And it's literally 1 for 1. We stack the deck one day so far this season, and it's already resulted in a win. Well, obviously, we're not going to win every day on that. But every day prior resulted in 0 wins. One day of stacking the deck. So it's the way to go. It is the way to go for this season. Got to just bide your time, bring the right team, right circumstances, and nail those few results. Punchy is a great way to go for us, though. That's going to do it for this episode. We will continue on with Torino Adriatico, see if we're still in position, see if we can do more, see if we can grab another win, see if we can grab it overall, which, like I said, I'm not that hopeful for that. Feel like we're going to be on the back foot now that we're in the leader's jersey with the other teams working together against us. I'm the Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.